Hi guys, you're back with DCI Fight Week, and this is my week, which is obviously the best. So we got Bluecoats 2019, the Bluecoats, Carolina Crown 2018 Beast, Mandarins 2018 Life Right After, and Blue Knights 2015 Because. So I'll start off with my favorite all-time show ever, Bluecoats 2019.
Yeah!
I'm in love with the Beatles. I'm in love with the Beatles, and they did such a good job. It was so cool. I don't even know what to even start talking about. Of course, the front ensemble is amazing. The costumes were amazing. Just saying, they literally had a different outfit for each marimba player, and I wanted to be them so bad, like deeply in my soul. I don't. Does anyone else want to talk? I can't even talk.
Yes, of course I will. This is
okay.
Besides Tilt or like Downside Up, this is my favorite Bluecoats show. Just because I love the Beatles, and it's also very similar to our Tarpon show this last year, since our Tarpon show was like a mix of the Bluecoats and Santa Clara Vanguard.
Oh, yes.
So,
oh, yes.
This show, just the music and just the trumpet solo at the end, I always waited throughout the show, just like, you know, sort of vibe into it, since it's just a calming show to listen to, and then you have all these like hits, and it's very similar to Session 44 in the like jazz sense, but that's sort of their new thing now. Like the Bluecoats, they always want to have like a certain like genre of music they do, like Sarah by the Westerlies in 2018, and then the Beatles for this show. And like my favorite parts of those shows are that trumpet solo, the intro when it's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Bluecoats." It's the best thing, and then they say it at the end. It's awesome, and then they do the vocal thing at the end, which was cool. How they sing and while they're marching. So,
right. It's insane.
Yeah, it's awesome. Whoever's next.
I actually want to talk about most of the opener. The opener is probably my favorite part of the show, actually. It's just absolutely spectacular. The noises that the pit makes, the Bluecoats, first of all, are probably one of my favorite front ensembles, them and the Cavaliers, because they always make like these sounds that blend with the core that no other cores usually do. And so I really love how they did it, especially with their 2019 show. And what was I going to talk about? Oh, so that part, I forgot the name of the song. The part where they go ba 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 ba, and then they do the same thing later, but they switch it to 3/4. That's actually a callback to like all the way to their 2010 show. And I always found that really interesting because like nobody else knows that because nobody really watches Bluecoats 2010. But I love that show, and so I really found that interesting. And when they added Hey Jude to their closer, that finally sold me on the show because I didn't actually really like the show before they added that. But I didn't like it until Allentown. Being dead serious, I was Ghostlight all the way. But as soon as they introduced that, I was I love it
all the way.
No,
Mitchell, please leave.
Yep, and
okay,
I'll
Isaac.
go. So
or Mitchell. Okay.
It was cool.
You're about to start another fight. You're about to start another fight, Mitchell. You're about to start another fight.
I will fight you, and I will win.
Oh, Jaelyn!
My opinions are very radical.
You can't fight women.
Does radical mean stupid?
No, radical means like radical in the sense that is crazy.
I know.
I'm not a huge fan of the Beatles, so it just didn't really vibe with me all that much. I mean, sure, it was cool. I'm not gonna say it was bad. It was cool, but it wasn't. It didn't really sell me like Ghostlight did.
You know,
and that's why I was super stoked to hear
I thought
that.
Ghost was boring.
Oh, I thought it was so cool.
Does
It
anyone
was like a second coming of Venomorph.
Did anybody choose?
But like with Ghostlight, their brass really did project. Like everything they played was like stupid clean. Their brass had this 16-note run, and that lasts like God knows how many measures. And it's just beautiful.
Did anybody even choose Ghostlight for their top 4?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I think Allie did.
No, she has Crown, Boston, and Coates. So Ghostlight's not even in this?
Had Ghostlight. I would have chosen it.
That's just more proof, Mitchell. You didn't even choose Ghostlight.
Oh my
Bluecoats
gosh.
is superior.
I would have chosen Ghostlight if I knew.
Owen.
If I knew nobody had it.
Owen, go
Yeah,
on
yeah.
ahead. Go on ahead, Owen.
Oh wow! Speaking of,
Mitchell, please stop.
I was just scrolling through, and the Woodlands 13 opener is the same thing as the Blue Devils 2019, and that just popped up on my Instagram feed.
Thank you.
Okay, well, Owen,
Yes,
you give your comments.
I absolutely love this show.
Thank you.
Just, I love the Beatles a lot. I enjoy their music. I enjoy the Bluecoats playing Beatles music. Just putting two great things together just makes it all that much better. It just has such an impact on me. Like, I don't know why, but I mean, I mentioned previously on the on Mitchell's episode of DCI Play Week that Valkyrie was one of the reasons why I joined drum corps, but I didn't see Valkyrie until after I saw Bluecoats 2019, and I saw Bluecoats 2019 and I was like, yeah, this is just great. This is amazing. And I mean, it was kind of like the same feeling that you get when you watch like when you watch Metamorph. It's just like, this is great. I want to do this, but it's not the same like I want to do this that I got from Valkyrie. I don't know why, but regardless of that, the show has a really deep emotional connection. Well, I have a deep emotional connection to the show because it was the first and. Well, yeah, it was the first DCI show that I saw when I was getting into DCI. And that's just, I really like that. And it just holds a special place for me.
I love that. I love that so much.
All right. That's going to be hard to follow, Owen. Dang it. All right. So for me, I really do enjoy Bluecoats 2019. I was very much going back and forth between who should have won. Obviously, the whole blue debacle thing. I will not say my piece with that because I know
That's
going
to start a fight
again. So let's not do that. But I will say what I really do enjoy about this production itself. Their ballad doesn't really start until 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and that's like way deep in a show. Usually, your ballads starts between 4 to 5 to 6 minutes in. I really like how they don't really have like that true ballad style, you know what I mean? Like there's a transition kind of, but it's like a smooth, sleek transition, and they do this kind of melodic type stuff, and then they go right back into what they were doing. I absolutely love that idea. I think, kind of innovating the idea of what a show concept or the show kind of entails. Usually you just have your opener, your part 2, your ballad, your part 4, and then your closer, and you're done. Bluecoats kind of took that out and was like, we're not having that. And they just made this whole new thing in this whole universe. I thought it was really, really cool. Obviously, you had the Beatles in it, which really, really great. I think they did really, really well with the music that they chose. Kind of different feel than normal in DCI, more of a free flowy type thing. I thought that was really interesting. Obviously, it hit close to home because that was like our 2019 production at Tarpon, so that was really cool. Yeah, that's kind of my piece on that show.
Yeah, I have another thing actually. There's that one section where they bring the contras forward and they just have them throw down these pedal tones, and I really like that.
Yeah,
like
contras.
You don't get to see the contras getting the spotlight that often, and usually when you do, it's in the form of like, oh, they have really fast like runs or something that they're managing to play, and they're managing to do it pretty clean. But this is just they're there, and I like that. I like the acknowledgement of a section that doesn't usually get all that acknowledgement.
Yeah, I agree. Jaelyn, you want to move us on to your next show?
All right. We judged this show earlier in the past weeks, but it's Carolina Crown 2018 Beast. I remember judging the show and just being blown away by all the different aspects of it, especially the brass. It's just insane. Oh my gosh. I am not a huge brass person, and I'm terrible at judging brass, as everyone knows by now. But to me, it was amazing.
Trombone feature. That's all. That's like the only thing I really need to say. And the opener, the Bruckner.
Exactly.
Okay, we do have to kind of take the time to realize that their drum line that year was straight fire.
Yeah.
Like, that
You
was so
are correct.
good.
That opener
It was,
into the
like,
Bruckner.
Not only
Yes.
was the brass a beast, but the drum line was a beast. Like, everything was, they were killing
A
it
beast
that
of a
year.
podcast.
It was really
Am I
good.
right? A beast of a
Can I talk about the
podcast.
drum line for a second?
Yes, go ahead, yes.
First of all, that drum line is the only one where I can listen to it without headphones, just on my phone, and it will still hurt my ears. And for some reason, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. They were using these prototype sticks that just absolutely like rip through everything. I remember I was listening to I was in the lot listening to Boston Crusaders drum line, which is like also extremely loud because they use Yamaha drums, right? And even in the middle of Boston Crusaders playing one of their loudest closing phrases, I heard Carolina Crown playing their opening phrase, and they weren't even at their highest dynamic yet. They're just stupid loud, but stupid good. It's just amazing. Also, I want to talk about my favorite part of the show. I kind of don't like the closer, actually. I do like when they play Blow It Up, the trombone feature. That's really cool. My favorite part of the show is actually the second movement of the opener, Destination Moon. It's really groovy. I love them playing that, especially the battery part they wrote.
Groovy.
It's really good. It's really good. And so yeah, I love Beast. It's definitely not my favorite Crown show, but I really love it for that opener, that battery, and that trombone feature.
Yeah, I mean, that, like, again, like, they were just beasts that year. Like, they were pulling out sound out of their butts and throwing it in our faces. Like, it was so good. I think Crown has always done a great job at highlighting their certain sections. You know what I mean? Like, they have their Crown brass stuff, then they highlight their percussion section, they highlight their guard. I think they do a really, really great job, but I think 2018 year, they really did an amazing job of that. You know, like, showing off their kind of percussion in part 2, showing off their brass in the opener and the closer. I mean, it was just really, really great stuff.
I agree. The Beast is just, you gotta go watch that Beast of a podcast to see what we said about it before. But
Stop that.
I had to. It's the one.
No.
This might be the last time we're covering
No.
Beast, dude.
You were not contractually obligated to.
Yes, I was. But moving on from that, that whole entire just brass line that year, Matt Harloff did such a great job with them. Yes, they got 4th place and they have the quote-unquote Bruckner curse, but they killed it that year, and that year was very competitive in 2018, except for Dreams and Nighthawks, which was awful, but like every other show that year was so competitive and great, and honestly, it was anyone's game that night, anyone's game. But that's sort of my closing comments on Beast.
BD 2018.
They're garbage. Jaelyn, please move us on.
All right.
Stop.
We're doing Mandarins 2018 Life Right After. Gavin actually showed me this to watch because I'm not a huge DCI nerd. Their front ensemble is insane. Their runs were so clean together, so amazingly fast. Like, I couldn't even see their hand. I loved it. It was awesome. I love their front ensemble. I want to be them.
Can I talk about Spinny Boy?
No.
This
Oh my God.
this show.
You cannot like Spinny Boy. A 6,000-pound spinning prop. Amazing. I absolutely love that thing. So, like, when I watched them, the show was getting rained out, so they had to do a standstill run. But despite that, they were still doing all the visual that they had to do on the spinning prop. That was still operating. And I'm pretty sure the only reason they did that is because they had to move it up this giant hill, because Allentown is like that. And so I feel like if they had to go through all that work just to get the prop up there, they might as well do that. Anyways, the closing hit on that show is so beautiful. It's amazing. I love Life Right After. And
Yes.
like they're probably the only core I've ever seen to put a drum break in their ballad. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that too. That was so cool.
That put
I
them
will
on the
say,
map.
yeah, the prop is pretty cool. The spinning one. We're gonna refer to it as Spinny Boy from now on. I love it. Actually, they actually just sold that this past year to a school in Texas, BOA band in Texas, Vista Ridge, for their show Turning the Tables, and that worked really well.
This show for them put them on the map. Like, that show finally made people understand Mandarins is a group that is up and coming, and I'm excited to see what Mandarins can do within the next decade.
Yeah, I mean, I love how they were able to just not really be known as one of the drum corps. Like, you think of your drum corps, you think of Blue Devils, Bluecoats, Crown, Crossmen, Cadets, those basic top 12 names, the consistent top 12 corps. And then you have Mandarins who are just coming on their second year. 2019 was their second year of making top 12, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, and I love being able to be a part of a corps coming up from the beginning. And I love being able to see them evolve and do what they're doing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll go audition at some point when I have the chops to do so. But I always love how they look and how their style of how their shows operate. I really just love that about them.
Yeah, I think that's kind of 2018 was really when the brass hit their stride of hey yo, we're really good too. You know what I mean? Obviously seeing that brass feature was incredible. I mean, I hadn't really heard anything like that brass feature itself. I mean, you can say, Blue Devils had this, or Bluecoats had this, or Crown had this, but there's something different about that Mandarin's brass feature that year that kind of took it to a different level or a different kind of viewpoint for me, I guess.
Yeah. Anyone else have any comments? Or shall Jaelyn move on?
I love Spinny Boy.
Spinny Boy. We all love Spinny Boy.
I love that name. I love that name. I will never refer to it as anything other than Spinny Boy now.
If I could marry a DCI prop, it would be Spinny Boy.
Oh, man.
Mine would be the Beast Teeter Totter. We'll call it Animal. But whatever. Jaelyn, go on with your last show.
Okay, last but not least, to be fair, Isaac wanted this one, so I looked it up and I liked it too, so I chose it for him. But it's Blue Knights 2015 because...
Dude, that vibes.
Their brass solos are insane. Their color guard props, I don't even know how to explain them. Mesmerizing. It's crazy. Drum breaks, super clean. And then one other thing was the bells in the front ensemble kept cutting over, and it added cute little vibes to it. I liked it a lot.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite shows musically. This is one of the shows where I can lay down and I'm about to go to sleep, plug in my headphones, and I'll just listen to the show over and over and over again. I love the music in the show. I think it's incredible. I think, just the trumpet the trumpet solo and the ballad coming across the ensemble and over the ensemble. They did that so well. I think the balance of the solos and the balance of the solo versus the ensemble was really done incredibly well. I think them doing it wasn't only two ballads because their closer was kind of a ballad type, but they kind of had two ballad type things. I thought that was really intriguing. I think their composition that year was beautiful, and then not only that, their show itself, just watching it, was so unique and kind of different than we've kind of seen in the past, especially coming from just everybody's a strong core and we want to play really loud and big and whatever, and then you have kind of Blue Knights who's well, we can play big, but we're also going to be really beautiful and artistic and all this other stuff. So really, for me, that's why I really, really love it. Plus, you have Daniel Belcher, and he's an amazing conductor. Yes.
So, drum corps don't normally play Flight of Paradise, especially as their closer. But when they do, it's awesome. When the Blue Knights did it, it was beautiful. I never would have expected them to do it as a closer too. Most bands or corps usually play it as their ballad. but the way they pulled it off, because especially with them using Adam Watts' music in that, and if you don't know who Adam Watts is, it's because you're not a Broken City fan. But yeah, them using his music going into the hit is like spectacular. So yes, props to them for putting that somehow into a closer and still making it awesome.
It's definitely a great show. I've only watched it a few times, but like it's one of my personal favorite Blue Knights shows. And people, like, when they think about top 12 drum corps, they usually forget about like Blue Stars and Blue Knights that are always there in that like 7 and 8 gap.
Correct.
You know, they're always down there. They're the duet that you can never break apart. You know, they either flip flop or maybe rarely someone gets in between them, but they're always together. And we always forget about them because our director, Mr. Ford at Tarpon, he writes the drill for Blue Springs. Or not Blue Springs, Blue Stars.
The Blue Stars.
See? Like, there's so many blue names, you just forget about them. There's Blue Springs, Bluecoats, Blue Devils, A, B, C, Blue Knights, Blue Stars. There's everything you can think of. But you always forget about them. And I think Blue Knights needs to have some more recognition because they do some great stuff. Anyone else? Nope. Okay, well, Jaelyn, you might as well close it out for us then.
Okay. Thank you for listening to our podcast. I think my shows are the best. We're gonna have continued DCI Fight Week with Wednesday. Wait.
Who, like the show? Which top show for her?
Agreed.
All right.
Blue Knights.
I'm saying Bluecoats. I'm saying
Mandarins, Blue Knights,
Caroline Crown.
Crown Beast. What was the fourth? I'm sorry.
The Bluecoats.
Bluecoats.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm happy to
Beast.
go with because
Beast.
Bluecoats.
Of course you
Bluecoats.
would.
I'm definitely Bluecoats.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Bluecoats wins.
I'm all with Knights.
Oh,
All with Knights.
yeah. Oh, we got even Knights.
Pretty close.
Okay, well, tomorrow's Owen. You know, it's time for him to
There
go
we
down
go.
his shows. And then on Thursday, we'll have Isaac and we'll sort of put our bracket together for the final fight on Saturday after Friday going over Miles and Allie, our social media
Allie.
our social media
Predict your cousin's
manager.
name.
Sorry, I don't know why. Everything's getting combobbled today.
It's okay.
But it's fine.
I'm
Hey,
doing that too.
speeches. It's because
It was because of the speeches, exactly. Bluecoats won. Yeah, Bluecoats won in this one. So we're gonna see who wins in Owens for tomorrow. Join us and see you guys tomorrow.